I have been limbering up, I've been stretching, I've been mentally and physically preparing to tackle my entire own TBR today. Not in a way of actually like reading it and reducing it, although that is something that I have been working on throughout the year. But today it is time for my annual staple where we check in and see how many of my books that I own are currently unread. And if you are a veteran on this channel, you'll know that this video has been a staple since my channel started in 2017. And over the years, my collection has grown rapidly, especially throughout the years of like 2020 or 2019 through to 2023, where I was hauling around 200 books per year. And yes, I know that is excessive, which is why I've been curbing it back over the last couple of years, because during those years I was reading maybe 100 books, so my TBR was increasing at like twice the pace that I was reading it. So I do have some projects on my channel. If you're new here, wow, what a time to join. First off, I'm aware that I have too many books, and I have been trying to tackle this through a project called Shelve It or Scrap It, which is designed to tackle the overspill of books that I have. So the books that I have that don't currently fit on my shelves. But one of the things that I have also been doing alongside that is just generally hauling less books. And I do still haul a considerable amount of books, I am aware of that, but I've been hauling considerably less than I was in years previous. So I have hauled slightly more this year than I did last year, and last year was the first year that we had a reduction in my own TBR instead of an increase. So I'm pretty sure that the number that we're trying to beat today is 582, and I have hauled a little bit more than I did last year. I think last year I hauled 110 books. I've currently hauled 124 at this point in the year, and I think I have at least 2 more books to come in, which are sequels to series that I'm in the middle of that I want to read very soon. And I have read a little bit less than I had at this point last year. I was already over 100 books read last year, and right now I think I'm sat at 93. So I was really happy with the reduction that we had in my TBR at this point last year. I think it was 22 books-ish less than we'd had at the same point in 2023. And right now I'm just hoping to break even. I'm just hoping to come in at least 582. And even though I haven't read as many books as I've hauled, which was a goal that I had for 2024 that I achieved, I was pretty much neck and neck throughout the entire year. I know I've hauled slightly more than I've read this year, but I have also DNF'd a bunch of books. I think I DNF at least 2 books a month, and then obviously unhaul those off my TBR. Some of the books that I have hauled this year, I've already either read and kept or read and unhauled. And I've also hauled some duplicate editions of books that I already own and love, just as like vanity editions for my shelves as well. So I am still pretty optimistic that we can hit the goal and come in under 582 books unread. The sad thing about this video though is that I'm not going to know throughout the process of filming this whether I have achieved that goal or not. You guys are going to find out what that number is during the course of this video, but that's something that I'm only going to discover when I'm editing, so keep your fingers crossed for me. So if this is your first time seeing this video, it is literally just a check-in of my unread books, so I'm not going to tell you anything about them. Obviously I have over 500. I have a large number to get through, so I'm literally just going to hold them up and tell you the title and the author. What this video does also serve as though is a chance for you guys to recommend books off my shelves. Throughout the last few years of doing this, I have asked you guys to leave books that you think I should read down in my comments, and you can do this as 1 book per comment. You can leave a comment full of all of the books that I own that you think I should read, and occasionally throughout the year I do check in on this video and I'll like randomly generate a comment and read books based off your guys' recommendations. So please do not hesitate to go wild down there recommending all of the books that you guys have read and loved that I own on these shelves. And actually, you know what, now that Shelve It or Scrap It is a thing, if you guys want to pick books off here that you think I should read or sample because you don't think I'm going to enjoy them, feel free to leave those as well. I would say though, leave your clarification. So if for example you don't think I'm going to enjoy The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, feel free to put that down in the comments, but let me know that it's a book that you think that I should just kind of like try and unhaul and you're not expecting me to love it, just so I go in with the correct expectations. So now all of that's out of the way, I think it's about time we get started, because even though this video is going to fly by for you, it's not going to fly by for me, guys. All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders, Flowers in the Attic by Virginia Andrews, Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, Daughter of the Blood by Anne Bishop, Incendiary by Catherine Blair, Clare, Three Dark Crowns, One Dark Throne, and The Queens of Fenburn by Kendall Blake, Stormfront, Summer Night, Death Masks, and Grave Peril by Jim Butcher, Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler, Afterlove by Tanya Byrne, Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre, Master of Sorrows by Justin Call, Enchanted to Meet You, Insatiable, and Overbite by Meg Cabot, The Magician's Apprentice and The Magician's Guild by Trudy Canavan, Fire by Kristen Kashaw, A Psalm for the Wild Bill by Becky Chambers, The Exiled Queen and The Grey Wolf Throne by Cinda Williams Chimer, By the Pricking of My Thumbs, Postern of Fate, and NRM by Agatha Christie, Sorceress of the Crown by Zen Cho, Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, Leviathan Wakes, and Persepolis Rising by James S.A. Corey, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, The Blood Gift by N.E. Davenport, Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell, The Truth About Forever, That Summer, and Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen, The Diamond Throne by David Eddings, The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal, Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray, Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin, Shaman's Crossing, Forest Mage, and Renegade's Magic by Robin Hobb, Sparrow by Mary Cecilia Jackson, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, The Next Together and The Last Beginning by Lauren James, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, Beneath the Keep by Erica Johansson, Winter Song by S.J. Jones, Ancillary Justice and Provenance by Anne Leckie, The Three-Body Problem by C. Sean Liu, The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks by E. Lockhart, Warcross by Marie Liu, Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lucia, The Lies of Loch Lamora and Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch, The House of Always by Jen Lyons, Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, The Fact of a Body by Alexandria Marzano-Lesnovich, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, The Novice by Taran Matherow, The Falconer by Elizabeth May, The Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet, and Number 9 Dream by David Mitchell, Colorless Sakura Tozaki and His Years of Pilgrimage, 1Q84 Books 1 and 2, and A Wild Sheep Chase by Haruki Murakami, The Knife of Never Letting Go, The Ask and the Answer, More Than This, and The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness, The Elites by Natasha Nyan, Us by David Nichols, Temeraire, Throne of Jade, Black Powder War, and Uprooted by Naomi Novik, Dorothy Must Die, The Wicked Will Rise, Dorothy Must Die Stories Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Danielle Page, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, Boy with the Porcelain Blade by Den Patrick, The Heart of Betrayal and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, The Colour of Magic and The Last Hero by Terry Pratchett, Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel, The Ivory Key by Ikshaya Rahman, Falling Kingdoms, Rebel Spring, Gathering Darkness, Frozen Tides, and Crystal Storm by Morgan Rhodes, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Hollow City, and Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs, Trial of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, Under the Never Sky, Into the Still Blue, and Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi, Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rosner, and The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, A Taste of Iron and Gold by Alexandra Rowland, The Winner's Curse, and The Winner's Crime by Marie Rakoski, The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan, The Sword of Destiny, The Tower of the Swallow, Time of Contempt, and Blood of Elves by Andrzej Sapkowski, The Dark Vault by V. Schwab, The Lazarus War by Jamie Sawyer, Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian, The Lying Game, Never Have I Ever, and Two Truths and a Lie by Sarah Shepard, Bones of Fairy by Jenny Lee Simner, The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, Ballad, Lament, and The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, Battle Royale by Kushan Takami, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Girl in 6E by A.R. Tor, The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tcholke, Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sujimura, The Beast Warrior by Nohoko Uehashi, The Wolf of Orinyaro, The Ikasar Falcon, and The Dragon of Jin Sayeng by K.S. Veloso, An Oath of Dogs by Wendy Wagner, The Sword of Kaigan by Emma Wang, Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson, The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, The Distance Between Us by Casey West, Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner, A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White, And I Darken, and Slayer by Kirsten White, The Thousand Deaths of Ardor Ben by Tyler Whitesides, The Girl King by Mimi Yu, Interview with the Vampire Lestat, and The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, The Last Namsara, and The Cage Queen by Kristen Cicerelli, Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, Magician by Raymond D. Feist, Kashiel's Dart and Kashiel's Avatar by Jacqueline Carey, The Inheritance by Robin Hobb, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, Mirage by Samaya Dowd, A Dark and Starless Forest by Sarah Hollowell, The Republic of Salt by Ariel Kaplan, The Diabolic by S.G. Kincaid, Horrid by Katrina Leno, Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston, The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed, Defiance by C.J. Redwine, Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood, Rule of Wolves, Ninth House, and Hellbent by Lee Bardugo, Kingdom of the Feared and Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco, Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson, Night of Cake and Puppets, Daughter of Smoke Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, Planet of the Apes by Pierre Boulle, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, The Adventure of the Engineer's Thumb and Other Cases, and The Five Orange Pips and Other Cases by Arthur Conan Doyle, Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, Middlemarch by George Eliot, A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, Les Miserables Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Victor Hugo, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Daisy Miller and the Turn of the Screw by Henry James, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Treasure Island and the Ebb Tide by Robert Louis Stevenson, Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, In Memoriam, Maud and Other Poems by Alfred Tennyson, Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, Streamington Volume 6, Volume 9, and Orange to You Dear One by Ichigo Takano, I Hear the Sunspot by Yuki Firmino, We Were There Volume 1 by Yuki Obata, The Summer Hikaru Died Volume 1 by Moku Makoran, Death Note Black Edition Volume 1 by Sugumi Oma and Takeshi Obata, Resident Evil The Mahawa Desire Volume 1 by Naoki Serizawa, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, Mary Poppins Comes Back, Mary Poppins Opens the Door, Mary Poppins in the Park, and Mary Poppins in Cherry Tree Lane and the House Next Door by P.L. Travers, Oz the Complete Collection Volume 1 by L. Frank Baum, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune, The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow, The Spice Gate by Prashanth Srivatsa, The Saviour's Champion by Jenna Moresi, Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu, Wonder Woman Warbringer by Lee Bardugo, Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh, Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao, Gargantus by Thomas Taylor, The Land of Ra by Jenny McLaughlin, Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, Silverborn by Jessica Townsend, Shawfall by Robert Jackson Bennett, Burton on Burton by Tim Burton, Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford, Fever and Wither by Lauren DiStefano, The Lady of the Lake by Jean Menzies, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, The Helm of Midnight by Marina Lostetta, The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith, The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz, Deep End and Bride by Ali Hazelwood, The Ever Queen and The Mist Thief by L.J. Andrews, The Undermining of Twyla and Frank by Megan Bannon, The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen, Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford, Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Camera, Crossroads of Ravens by Andrzej Sapkowski, Alchemize by Senlin Yu, A Song of Wraiths and Ruins by Roseanne A. Brown, We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark, To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast, Seven Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton, Fallen City by Adrian Young, All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu, The Throne of the Tyrant by J.T. Greathouse, Faithbreaker by Hannah Kana, The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, Foxglove King by Hannah Witten, The Devil Makes Three by Tori Bovolino, The Great Wen by Alan Moore, The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas, Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Carhill, Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon, As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Siegel, Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah Mughal Rana, Savage Blooms by S.T. Gibson, Thorn Season by Kira Azar, Le Normeau by Janine Jansen, Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber, Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee, All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson, Brave and the Reckless by Deelan Dyer, Three Shattered Souls by Mike Orland, Romanov by Nadine Brands, Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beatty, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin, The Coward by Stephen Aryan, Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee, Human Rights by Juno Dawson, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, The Listeners by Maggie Stiefvater, Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake, Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder, Never Ever After by Sulin Tan, If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia, The Chain by Chimini Suleiman, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, Sign Here by Claudia Lux, The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso, Catabasis by R.F. Kwong, Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie, Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, The Valkyrie by Kate Hartfield, Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Ayindi, Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray, Lady Hotspur by Tessa Grattan, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, This Vicious Grace by Emily Thaidi, Seven Devils by Elizabeth May and Laura Lamb. So I don't want to get my full ladders out and I can't reach The Lost Metal or Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, but I can reach The Many Lives of Stephen Leeds and Steel Heart, also by Brandon Sanderson, The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam by Megan Bannon, Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard, The Atlas Paradox, The Atlas Complex, and Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, The Kingdom of Copper and The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, Wisteria and Foxglove by Adeline Grace, The Jazzak Crown by Sarah Hashem, The Strength of the Few by James Islington, Empire of the Dawn by Jay Kristoff, The Book That Held Her Heart, and The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence, All This Twisted Glory and These Infinite Threads by Tahara Murphy, Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty, The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy, Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, Iron and Embers by Helen Shorer, The Dark Mirror by Samantha Shannon, The Book of S by J.J. Abrams, If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun, Iron Flame and Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, The Hawkling by Rebecca Zahabi, The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart, Dune by Frank Herbert, Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel, Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim, The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim, A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson, The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson, Hammerjang Look by Makana Yamamoto, Daughter of Chaos by A.S. Webb, and Break the Pretty Things by Lena Jeong, Saga Volume 11 and 12 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, Moonstruck Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3 by Grace Ellis and Shay Beagle, Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, Buffy Volume 9 by Jeremy Lambert, Blackbird by Jen Humphries and Sam Bartel, Angel and Spike by Brian Edward Hill, Bitch Planet Volume 1 and Bitch Planet Volume 2 by DeConnick Delandro, Wolf Song by TJ Klune, The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon, The Book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerly, Rings of Fate by Melissa Dela Cruz, Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman, Hot Desk by Laura Dickerman, Ben Farrell by Sam Beck Bessinger, Princess of the Broken by Jasmine K. Swinburne, Monsters Born and Made by Tanvi Burwer, Stormblood by Jeremy Saul, Gorse by Sam K. Horton, Outlaw Mage by K.S. Veloso, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, The Sisters Grimm by Menavan Prague, The Crier's War by Nina Varela, This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, After the Forest by Kel Woods, Fangirl by Rainbow Roel, Hold Back the Tide by Melinda Salisbury, The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer, 6-4 by Hideo Yokoyama, Power by Naomi Alderman, The Last Boy and Girl in the World by Siobhan Vivian, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles, I Have Lost My Way by Gail Foreman, The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, This Spells Love by Kate Robb, The Reunion by Kayla Olson, Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, Isn't It Bromantic, Crazy Stupid Bromance and Other Cover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, The Bone Witch and The Blood Witch by Ivy Asher, Breath of Fire, Night Chaser and Star Chaser by Amanda Boucher, The Fox and the Falcon by Piper CJ, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, Infernal Magic by C.N. Crawford, Sex Life and Skin by B.B. Easton, One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, Loath to Love You, Not in Love and Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, Rain and Ruin by J.D. Evans, Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, Oath Taker by Audrey Gray, Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home and Magnolia Park's Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, King of Wrath by Anna Huang, Reminders of Him, Regretting You, and Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, The Bride Test and The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, The Inadequate Heir and Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen, X's and O's by Amy Lee, The Soulmate Equation, The True Love Experiment, The Unhoneymooners, and Josh and Hazel's Guide to Fake Dating by Christina Lauren, The Vampire Wants a Wife and Dating Sucks by Andy M. Long, Blood Fever by Cara Marie Moaning, Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello, Hooked by Emily McIntyre, The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, My Cone and Only by Susanna Nix, Always Mine and Into the Tide by Laura Pavlov, Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Song of Blood and Stone by Elle Penelope, Taste Like Shakar by Nisha Sharma, Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding, King of Battle and Blood, A Touch of Ruin and A Touch of Chaos by Scarlett St. Clair, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Angel's Blood, Angel's Kiss, Angel's Consort and Angel's Blade by Nalini Singh, Disenchanted by Brianna Shigalski, The Donut Trap by Julie Tu, Bewitched by Laura Thalassa, Lover Unbound by J.R. Ward, Crave by Tracy Wolfe, What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods, Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao, Witch King by Martha Wells, Born by Jeff Vandermeer, Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart, We All Fall Down by Rose Sabo, Zara by S.J. Jones, The Ones We're Meant to Find and Descendant of the Crane by Joan He, Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna, The Keeper of the Night and The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker, Where the Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell, Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsopoulou, The Once and Future Witches and Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet, Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden, Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena, Law and Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken, The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Go Dark, Girl with No Reflection by Kesha Chow, The Book Eaters by Sunya Dean, Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron, Bittersweet by Susan Kane, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty, Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, The Nightblood Prince by Molly X. Chang, Violet Maid of Thorns by Gina Chen, House of Marion by J.L., The Lifestyle by Taylor Hahn, Swordcatcher, and The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare, Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark, Tales of a Monstrous Heart by Jennifer Delaney, The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, Bats of the Republic by Zachary Thomas Dodson, The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon, Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston, Gilded Crown by Marianne Gordon, Wayward by Amelia Hart, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, The Fortunes of Jaded Women by Caroline Hune, The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson, Windweaver by Julie Johnson, Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, Kiki's Delivery Service by Iko Kodono, Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb, A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk, City of Stardust by Georgia Summers, City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer, The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean, The Darkening by Sunya Mara, To Cage a God by Elizabeth May, All the Dead Lie Down by Carrie McCauley, Darling Girl by Liz Mikalski, Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott, Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, Kaikie by Vishnavi Patel, The Treachery of Swans by A.B. Parnek, Bonesmith by Nikki Pau Preto, The Verifiers by Jane Peck, The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd, The Floating World by Axio, The Midnight Lie by Marie Rakoski, These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine, A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth, Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen, The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Sori, Jade Fire Gold, and Darker by Four by June C.L. Tan, Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Immortal by Sulin Tan, Inkblood Scribe by Emma Tors, For Sheer's Wrath by Emily Varga, The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Valere, The Prince Without Sorrow by Maitri Vijayasakara, Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron, Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger, Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, The Collective by Alison Galen, Breathless by Amy McCulloch, Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett, Tell Me Everything by Erica Krause, Apples Never Fall by Liam Moriarty, Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart, Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff, which I forgot that I haven't read and I should have mentioned this earlier, and last but not least, the book that I am currently reading, which is This Wicked Fate by Kaylin Bayron. So that's it. That's how many unread books I currently own. I know that it's too many because by the time we got to these like final sets of hardbacks, I was struggling. I have wrestled with those final piles and I have had enough. So hopefully we did not exceed 582 books. I have as well, full disclosure, I've unhauled about 20 books, I think, while I've been going through this. To be honest, I don't think the majority of them were TBR books. I think a lot of them were books that I've read and have held onto for some reason and kind of forgotten that I have them. And because I'm taking most of the books off my shelves throughout the process of this video, I've kind of realized that they're there and they don't really need to be. So I'm going to be unhauling all of those. I don't know whether I'm making a separate unhaul video yet because I've already done my final unhaul of the year, or whether I'll just put it in shelf or scrap it, because now what I have to do is fill all of those gaps in my shelves with books that don't currently have a home, which will be nice, I gotta be honest. But I don't think that I really have anything left to say. I do have like 5 massive stacks of books to put back though, so would I rather sit here and talk to you guys than do that? Absolutely. But I think I should probably wrap us up. Fingers crossed I made my goal. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about it, but I can never predict whether it's going to be higher or lower, and it often surprises me, so we'll see. Down in my comments, please don't forget to leave me your recommendations of what you think that I should read from the books that I own. You can also predict whether you think I'm going to enjoy them or whether I'm inevitably going to scrap them in the context of shelve it or scrap it, which is probably where I'm most likely to revisit this video to be getting ideas for an episode in the next year. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram and my Patreon if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.